say my coffee machine, able to report how many cups you've made, whether you clean the machine, don't clean the machine, something is wrong with the grinder or brew in it. All these things are reported back to us. With this information, we can get our service team going to the customer without normally going to the customer, assess the situation, come back, bring the spare part. No. So offsite, we can see what are the spare parts to bring. So we are able to reduce the transportation time and frequency to the customer. And we are able to service the equipment faster.
Right.
So hence reducing
efficiencies,
the time and the number of times we need to travel to the customer's location. So you reduce petrol costs, you reduce energy costs and time costs.
If you're looking for a free way to support the work we do, bringing you conversations with our amazing guests on the Daily Coffee Pro podcast by Map It Forward, please subscribe, follow, and rate us wherever you listen to the podcast. It really helps us out. It's also a huge help if you share this episode and our social media content with your coffee friends. For links, check the show notes. Welcome to the Daily Coffee Pro by Map It Forward, friends. I'm your host, Lee Safar, and this is unfortunately the final episode of what has been a truly delightful first time that Kelvin from Mono, Origine and Coffex Coffee come on the podcast. Kelvin, I hope you'll come back on the podcast many, many times over the coming years to be able to track the success and the impact that you're having in the industry would truly be a delight for me. So I hope that you'll come back on the podcast again in the very near future. Thank you. In this series, folks, we're talking about how do we reduce the carbon footprint of coffee. And I want to say something before we get started. I always hope that this podcast gives you as the listener insight into who you should hope to aspire to be inspired by and to be like. I hope that this podcast offers you an alternative to the trickery and fuckery that's out there in the industry. I hope that this podcast shows you that there is hope if you can find people that are aligned with the good intentions that you have and the real impact that you want to make. And conversations like this that came from another relationship that I have in this industry, which is Felipe, should show you that there is many opportunities for hope in this industry. We talk about a lot of dark stuff in coffee, and there is a lot of dark stuff in coffee. And we're not denying that there is dark stuff in coffee, but there is hope. And this is one of those conversations that I hope you find hope in. Why? Because Kelvin has been in business for 27 years. He has a brand that has lasted a very long time doing business the old ways. And he has started a business. The second he saw that there is a different way of doing business, he started a business under a different name called Mono Origine that could help him fast track the impact that he wanted to have rather than being slowed down by what he was doing in Coffex. Not that Coffex, from what I understand, not that Coffex is doing bad business, but to do business with regards to the way that you want to do it in Mono Origine isn't possible if you have to turn this ship in a big way. Is that correct, Kelvin?
Right. So Coffex at Coffex earlier days, we don't have a real purpose. We are just another coffee company.
Selling coffee, making money. Right.
Selling coffee, making money. So when we started Mono and where we want Mono to be, we want to move things in a very fast manner. To move Coffex is like a cruise liner. You want to make a U-turn, it's going to take kilometers.
Yeah.
I can't do, very snappy. I cannot just maneuver it left, right, up, down. I can't do it. But with Mono, I can because I'm starting from a blank canvas of what we want to do. So I'm so glad that where we are now with Mono is making a huge influence in changing cultures. And my team in Coffex, they're all very much aligned together now. They are working towards Coffex being Mono. Up to a point in future, I believe it will all merge. And And maybe Coffex may not even exist anymore because everything is to the direction of mono. So we will be 100% sourcing, and we're already moving along that way to source all our coffee through sustainable sourcing channels.
In this episode, we're talking about, can the industry survive if we don't focus now on recalculating our carbon footprint? And the first place I want to start that exploration is what you just said. You have two brands. They are steering in different ways, but towards the same goal.
Yes.
Do you attract a different kind of person into mono than you did into Coffex?
100%. So to answer the first question, do I think the industry survive? Let's say Coffex may not survive. So I'm not talking about industry.
Wow.
Coffex may not survive if you don't change. So I need to do this change. I need to transition.
Wow.
So very lucky I transitioned this starting my work earlier, because this year there is growing demand for sustainable coffee coming from the market. And most of the coffee company I see in the market are not ready for it. Compared to us, we are ready because we started this journey last year. In the market, you see companies offering, like say, for example, fair trade coffee, Rain Alliance coffee. You look at the packaging. Yes, the coffee may be rainforest certified, the coffee may be fair trade certified, but if you look at packaging, they're not a sustainable packaging. So they have not thought through this thoroughly. They're just creating something because there is a demand. Last year, I do not have a demand, but I was anticipating a demand coming from this year onwards. Therefore, last year we started this journey intentionally. I would say intentionally rather than just creating this because there is a demand. No, because we intentionally want to move towards this direction.
Right.
Therefore, instead of having a sustainable product through Coffex, no, we started a complete new brand, because this new brand, I would say everything mono attach a brand to it has to be sustainable, has to be a technology, has to be something that has a story of sustainability to tell.
So it sounds like accountability
ultimately,
is the difference between these two brands.
Yes. So people can query us, people can ask for things. We want to have this information, real information, honest information, to declare.
And when we look at, does it attract different people in the business?
Yes, you attract all good people.
What's it?
All good people with a heart, it attracts. And every time we meet somebody, these are the people who are willing to share and help us improve things, connect us to other people. So everybody we meet through Mono are a different sort of people. It's an automatic filter.
Right. Do you mind if we explore that a little bit more? Because I think this is interesting for people who are trying to figure out, how do I reposition my coffee business so that I can start looking at my carbon footprint, and I can start being more responsible in the way that I participate in the supply chain. Folks, I just want to also say something here. Participating in what you'll start to see is a lot of these regenerative certifications start popping up, and coffee competitions of, the best regenerative coffee and blah, blah, blah. That is not how we change this industry. I would encourage you to just stop paying attention to all of that noise and hear this kind of stuff that Kelvin is about to say, because it's going to start within your business. You have to be accountable to the actions that you're taking and stop paying attention to bells and whistles. We can't make that mistake again. So, Kelvin, can you tell me how you approach finding the right people? Heart is one thing, I understand that, but from a very practical business perspective and a talent perspective, what are you looking for people in Mono that is different to the way that you would hire for Coffex?
So we are talking about supply side or the people
Let's start with the people that you hire into your company.
Okay. So we do change our hiring policy to include, we have questions that include what are the social activities? What are the goodwill activities you participate?
Right.
So there's a questionnaire when it comes to hiring people. We have added a few more questions just to test the heart of the person.
Right.
Are they driven by money, or are they driven by purpose, or are they driven by passion? We can identify the type of people that we want to hire.
Right.
So we are more selective.
So you're looking.
So ultimately, the new generation of people that came on board that we want to hire, that we are hiring now, are people that has a heart consciousness.
So their values are aligned with yours as a business.
Yes, the very important is the values of people who are working with this company must be aligned with the values and vision of the company.
And what about from a talent perspective? So values is one. They have to be good, decent people is another. But how do we know? How do you check that they can actually execute? Let's say you're hiring for, I don't know, a purchasing manager, or you're hiring for a trainer. So we have this problem in coffee where we just have this low barrier to entry and we just hire whoever's looking for a job a lot of the time, right? Tell me that's not what we do. That's definitely what happens in coffee. So you're intentional. How are you going about that?
It's very difficult to assess a person. Let's say, for example, when you interview someone, the person could be lying.
Yeah.
Right? Could be lying. You don't know. You just got to try them out. But based on hundreds of people that send in an application, there are certain key traits that we are looking for.
Right.
There are certain key traits we are looking for. But ultimately, they need to still go through a process, or what do you call it? You need to try them out.
Yeah,
so
like a
basically,
trial
you need
period.
a couple of months to try them out. Yeah, trial period. You don't sign any contract with them. We can hire them trial period. If it doesn't fit or it doesn't perform,
right,
you can go.
Right. Tell me the role that technology is playing in this process for you. So as more people look at the role that I'm very interested in the role that technology is playing in companies and with regards to labor, how are you approaching using technology more, less? You're using people and technology more? Are you using technology to assess the carbon impact that you guys are having? What role is technology playing in this process?
Well, we do have two new departments. One is looking at the sustainability aspect of the company. We have a sustainability team, including myself in that team. We do have IoT and technology team that we've added. This team will look into efficiencies. This team, the team technology, will also manage our IoT programs. All the new machines that we are carrying now through the company many of them are starting to have IoT functions. So we're able to track the performance of the machine. If the customer did not clean, a customer did something wrong to it, we're able to look into it offsite.
Sorry, what does IoT stand for?
Internet of Things.
Internet of Things.
So let's say my coffee machine able to report how many cups you've made, whether you clean the machine, don't clean the machine, something is wrong with the grinder or brew in it. All these things are reported back to us. With this information, we can get our service team going to the customer without normally going to the customer, assess the situation, come back, bring the spare part. No. So offsite, we can see what are the spare parts to bring. So we are able to reduce the transportation time and frequency to the customer. And we are able to service the equipment faster.
Right.
So hence reducing
efficiencies,
the time and the number of times we need to travel to the customer's location. So you reduce petrol costs, you reduce energy costs and time costs.
Right.
So that's working well for now because we just started this team last year.
Yeah, nice.
And slowly more and more equipment are being activated with this feature.
And are you using AI at all?
Not yet, but it's coming soon. AI is mainly to mainly office work, editing, marketing, preparing our deck for presentation, helping me improve information and talking with podcasts, events, and yeah, we are using AI on that scale, but it's just the beginning part,
Right.
right?
Right.
But eventually, even our factory equipment will be attached to AI. We are looking into that now to improve quality.
And I suspect your carbon footprint. Like I know that there's a big conversation happening right now about how using AI increases your carbon footprint because of the amount of energy that's required. I'm a big fan of AI. I use it a lot. It makes my work very efficient. And I make concessions. I didn't fly this year at all so that I could make sure that I'm not increasing my carbon footprint. But is that something that as you guys move more into technology and you do perhaps use more energy in those perspectives, do you think that that's something that you will have to make concessions for?
So ultimately, we do not know how much an AI computer will consume energy.
Yeah.
At least in terms of manpower, with AI, it helps reduce manpower for sure, and that helps reduce operating costs within the company. I think the newer generation of the workforce are now equipped with knowledge to deal with AI and communicate through AI and make the whole job more efficient.
Yeah.
Older people like us are starting to dabble into it, but the younger generations are already very well into it.
Well, and that's, I guess, where I want to round off this series with regards to Gen Z and Gen Alpha, but I guess more Gen Z because they're in the workforce now. What role do you think they're going to play in driving our industry more intentionally towards being very intentional about calculating our carbon footprint?
I do not know what the contributions of Gen Alpha at this point in time, but I do interact with them because they are my nieces and nephews, and I can see that they are very quick in troubleshooting things in a certain aspect related to computer and stuff. They're very, very quick, but I feel that their hands-on skills or problem solving in terms of hands-on related stuff or mechanical skills are not there.
Right.
Yeah, not there.
And what about Gen Z?
Even simple things. Gen Z, we find it in the workforce.
Yeah.
So they do have their own little problems. They do expect things to be handed to them. And not necessarily know how to troubleshoot certain things, but they do learn things quick.
And they do care about this problem a lot, right?
Yes, they do care. They do care. And this problem resonates well with them because you know that the last generation had left problems for them to solve. Every generation would blame the previous generation for giving us all the problems. That's nothing new. So we do have left them a lot of problems they need to solve. But at the same time, this generation is also trying to solve the problems together.
Kelvin, I am very grateful for such a delightful conversation. Thank you. We have started finishing off every series with a question that we ask every guest now. And the question is, when the future version of you comes back and watches this, what do you hope for him?
Please start this earlier. Please start this journey earlier. But that being said, I gave some thought to it as well. Although we want to start this journey earlier, do people still think we are crazies?
Oh, people think you and I are absolutely crazy. 100%.
Yeah.
And they're probably going to think he's more crazy.
I'm more crazy.
No, him, the future version of you. They'll probably think he's more crazy, right?
I think many a times that we've been lied to in the media, or things are not transparent, proof are not available enough, and capitalists capitalism have overtaken everything in terms of priority of how we should run our business.
Yeah, the humanity of us.
Very fixated on profits, very fixated on money and numbers, and not enough thought is given of us to acknowledge there is a problem that we need to solve. Because ultimately, in the world, if we don't solve this problem, the world is not going to be sustainable. If I look around us, the air is not getting cleaner. Every city is getting worse. It's getting more polluted. If I go to the countryside now, I see litters, rubbish, litter everywhere, packaging, and what do? They just burn it off. There are already solutions to solve this problem, but why are these solutions not being implemented in rural areas, in townships and stuff? Yeah, I'm not talking about rubbish collector because that's the thing of the past, yeah. I'm just talking about technology like plasma incinerators, runs on solar. Why are they not available in rural areas?
Yeah. It doesn't, it's not cost effective to do so. And I hope that the future version of you and the future version of me have gotten a little bit closer to helping to solve some of these problems. Let's hope. Let's hope.
So I'm here to solve problems.
And
global problems.
We're glad that you're here to help contribute to that. Our industry it sounds as though I've spoken to you twice now. It sounds as though our industry is lucky to have you. So I'm really grateful for that. Can you let people know where they can find out more about Mono, Origine and Coffex coffee, please?
So they can get on Instagram, Mono Origine. We have not gotten much posting up yet because we are still at the infant stage. But we have done a lot of activities with Mono, but we are very, very careful about how we want to share things at this point in time because everything is still very fluid.
Right.
So even our brand deck is not complete, but we have started on
Excellent.
it. Yeah.
So So
you can reach out to me privately. Yes.
Go ahead. Privately, where can they reach you?
Privately, at Kelvin, KELVIN .NGOW @coffexcoffee.com. You can send me email, ask me questions. I'll keep you posted on what's happening. A lot of on-ground activities have started, but a lot of marketing activity are just beginning. Yeah.
Amazing. And we'll have links in the show notes, folks, so that you can find the Mono and the Coffex websites as well as the Instagram, and you can go and check them out from there. We've only got one thing left, Kelvin. Would you sign us off for this series?
Yes. Peace.
Love.
Peace, love, and peanut butter.
Have an amazing rest of your day, everyone. Thank you very much, Kelvin. Bye, guys.
Thank you very much. Glad to be here. Bye-bye.
This episode is part of a 5-part series produced by Mapper Forward. Check the full playlist and guest details in the show notes, as well as how you can support our work in the coffee industry. Become a premium YouTube subscriber, explore our Patreon and any brands we've partnered with to bring you this podcast. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. It really does help us grow our audience.